I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate questions Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have for me. I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies.
We can't play into the hands of these people. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated.
The federal government deliberately encouraged illegal and violent conduct on January 6th.
Will God impeach America? Will God impeach America? Will God impeach America?
This is rapper Blueface. I think his name is Blueface, and he invites this girl. There's a white girl in the audience. He thinks through ice at his girlfriend, so he invites her on stage, and then he gets her jumped.
Oh, you didn't know about this? You the only one with cup of ice? Come on up here. Don't be scared now. You know what to do. Yeah, we'll make sure. Yeah, get us.
What's wrong with people?
He put her up there and pushed her down?
Yeah, he pushed her down into a group of girls so they could jump her.
Wow.
Right there on stage, like with no nothing. I don't know how you even have.
What is wrong with people?
I don't know, man. Lots of stuff. We might not all be fighting for the same reasons, but what is important is that we're all fighting for the same result. So why do we as patriot movements always have such a hard time to learn that lesson that it takes unity to get anything really accomplished? When we start to fight and the infighting, it just destroys the movements. It destroys the motivations. It destroys the momentum. It destroys everything. It destroys everything. It destroys relationships. So there's some drama behind the walls of the DC Gulag. Fights between prisoners, accusations and insults are flying. Wood is splintering. Sadly, wars within movements are something I know a bit about. And once again, infighting is damaging a movement I care about. One that is doing important work and finally starting to really get some traction out there. Finally, after all this time and all the work.
3 days.
Yeah, after all this time, and even before then, there was people working, for the J6ers and stuff. When things are good, that's when the devil attacks because you put your guard down. And things are starting to roll pretty well with the J6 movement. And they're getting attention and they're getting bigger eyes on it. And then with Trump's cases and all that kind of stuff going on, it even brings more attention to it. So that's a great thing. We can be quick to lower our guard or to raise our hands in a perceived victory, just as a flurry of punches is on its way in to batter us. And we have to remember that pride comes before the fall and oftentimes causes it.
Yep.
Yeah, but hey, Faith.
Yep.
Yeah, new button. Want to hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I just erased it.
That's a good one.
I erased
That's
it.
a good one you have there.
That was the Christmas bells. Dang it. As a movement, no real attention should be paid to this little fight. There's no way to win. There's no winning. What's the best possible outcome? More division. It's a soap opera and a waste of time and will lead to division and poison what they have already worked so hard to help build up. But we have to turn the movement from the sideshow because there's nothing good is going to come from it. It will not help us achieve our goals. It won't bring anyone closer together. Quite the contrary. Once again, the only way that our enemies can win, they can only attack us with what we give them. So I'm already seeing people attacking the group because of the infighting that's going on, and sadly very public infighting. The whole thing is unfortunate. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter, that these men as individuals do not matter. The ones in the jail that are involved in this, that their struggles don't matter. Of course they do. Of course they matter. However, as a movement, they cannot be our focus. It's fruitless, and it just feeds division. That's all it does. How can we expect to win the race if we don't stay focused on the destination? The patriot movement seems easily distracted. The patriot movement seems easily distracted. See what I did there? And easily divided. The patriot movement as a whole, I don't know if anyone knows this, but I was thinking the other day, I'm like, the patriot movement as a whole, if you picture it, driving down the highway of Liberty. Liberty Highway, we'll call it, right? And they're driving down Liberty Highway, and the destination there on the horizon, you can see it. That shining city on a hill there. Trying to get back to that shining city on a hill. I see it right there. There it is. That's beautiful. And we're trying to get back up to that. And we're getting momentum. And we're getting our speed up. And then here comes an off-ramp. And every single off-ramp, it seems, we get off. We take the bait. We get off the off-ramp. We might get right back on the highway again. But we've slowed down, come to a stop, derailed even. We get mixed up in drama and garbage. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the movement. It doesn't matter if you like people. You are not going to like everybody that you work with anywhere. In the patriot movement, on your job, sometimes in your own families. We must be stronger than this. We have to understand that this is war. And it's ugly. This is a pod in a jail full of strong patriotic men. Strong-willed patriotic men. There will be fights. It is an ugly reality. Someone is going to get punched in the face. Probably a few times. As individuals and as Christians, we should care about that situation. However, as a movement, especially one engaged in such a bitter battle for the very soul of America, one that is finally gaining major traction, we cannot allow ourselves to be weakened or splintered because of circumstances out of our control. Circumstances that really have no way of being truly verified. So then we come to a conclusion. What are you going to do? This is why I stay away from those situations as a movement. You can't focus on that because there's no winning. Again, like I said earlier, and you don't have all the facts, and there's no way to get all the facts. So you have what? You make your decision based 60% on facts, and then you fill the rest up with emotional thinking. But choices made based on emotions always allow division. Always. I always try to stay away from that. Emotional decisions and choices. And leadership in any movement has to stay away from that. Has to. Or it will damage the movement eventually. It will cause division, and those divisions will be based on an emotional thing, which goes deep. And people are willing to fight much harder for those things that they are emotionally invested in. These men have no time for our bickering and fighting. No time for our hurt feelings. They suffer as we exchange petty arrows at each other. See it over and over again. Our enemies know we can't aim at two targets at once. If our leadership's focus turns inward, so will the people who follow them. Soon the movement will begin to eat itself. patriots are falling all around us, and we stand bickering with each other about things that should not surprise us and nor command us. These men had their liberty stolen from them. They are under more stress than they have ever been under in their entire lives. They're men who miss their families. They miss their lives. They have to watch the world around them crumble away. Men who are forced to live in horrid conditions and worry about their safety, their health, and their sanity. Of course there will be violence. It isn't right, but it is the reality. We would be naive to assume otherwise. You take men and put them in such a stressful situation, restricting almost all of their freedoms completely away, strip all of those away, put them in a stressful situation. They don't know where they're going to be ending up. They don't know how long they're going to be in there. So many more have already been just railroaded. They have to be allowed to have some leeway. We have to expect that there's going to be some problems along the way. We reluctantly acknowledge it and denounce it without picking sides. We cannot turn the full focus of the mission, not even one day, to the J6 pod soap opera. It isn't important to the mission. Leadership must turn the movement's focus back where it should be and not on this division. Leaders should not be engaging in a fight in the town square with each other. Ask yourself, what would our enemies want? Public infighting and name-calling would be on that list, I imagine. Leadership should then refocus on how to best utilize all of these amazing patriots and followers and supporters that they have and volunteers. There's so many people invested in this movement across the country, all across the country. And it's wonderful. And like I've said from the beginning, this is a constitutional issue. This could be the major issue that defines the direction of the country for the next 50 years. This allows leadership to keep the movement effective. If the movement is not effective anymore, then what's the point? Effective movements attract negative attention. Leeches, traitors, and agitators will come to see if they can pick anything from our bones. We must expect it. We can easily defend against it, yet we seem to take the hate bait every time. Just general leadership. I don't even know if there's official leaders in the movement, but you have people pop up that are a leader over here, seem like they're leading over here. You know, I mean, that's part of the issue too, is that this J6 movement has so many small little groups doing things that are great, but doing them alone without more backup, without working together as a team, as a family. Agitators will take that and they'll run with it, and they'll try to cause division. They'll poke and prod. I've dealt with it before. They'll go and do anything they can to try to stoke division. Try to get people fighting with each other. Try to amplify disagreements. That there are going to be disagreements. You're not going to agree on everything. We cannot get wrapped up into believing that we have to agree on every issue with the people we patriot with. Maybe that's one of the things, is it needs official leadership, the movement itself. But I don't know. That feels like you're making it kind of corporate too, you know? We will always find wedges, real or manufactured. We must deal with the real ones, and we must defend against the manufactured ones. That's not to say that you fall into the trap of following around the people that are the agitators and trying to defend yourself against every ridiculous complaint or accusation, because that actually eventually it lends that accusation some validity, because then that person can go, look, see, He responded. That means he's guilty. Doesn't matter what you say. It just matters that you respond. We cannot continue to drink from every tricky cup that the devil serves up. We weaken the movement. We split resources. And we help to silence our own collective voices. In the end, all it does is make everything weaker. Taking sides, no matter which, in a fight that we have no way of confirming the details on, is dangerous and possibly deadly to the movement, especially one that people are so emotionally attached to. You can't tell me that all the mothers out there that listen to that guy on the phone, Isaac, being upset, didn't pull at some heartstrings.
Oh, for sure.
You can't tell me that all the mothers out there that listen to that guy on the phone, Isaac, being upset, didn't pull at some heartstrings.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it does to me no matter what. Just like, man, this sucks. That as far as him having to go through that. But my first thought was, well, and I'm not saying that doesn't make his feelings justified, but my first thought was he's just a baby himself. He's in this gulag with a bunch of men. Some of them are probably scarier than others. And I'm sure he's in a panic. He hasn't lived life yet. He might think he has, but he hasn't.
Leadership cannot guide the movement based on how people feel about each other personally. We always get in trouble that way. Everyone is so unwilling to say they don't know. Hey, babe. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I'll be honest with you right now.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Leadership cannot guide the movement based on how people feel about each other personally. We always get in trouble that way. Everyone is so unwilling to say they don't know. Hey, babe. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know.
I'll be honest with you right now.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I take no personal position because the movement is not a personal thing. It must be a professional thing. It has to be handled that way. You don't go to work and bring all your emotions there. You don't refuse to work with somebody there because you just don't like them or because they believe something different than you do. You work together because the organization that you work for needs you to work together. Why does that all get thrown out the window when we're talking about a patriot movement? It must be run with discernment, and choices must be measured. It must be run with discernment, and choices must be measured. We cannot have our supporters wake up in the morning and see an explosion of division and arrows being shot at each other by leadership. That suggests volatility and a movement built on sand rather than rock. It is easier to come to a conclusion using emotions rather than facts. That's part of the problem. You often have to gather the facts, but you already have the emotions. You can lay in bed and make all your decisions. And then you can validate your choices with those same emotions. Why do the work when you can make your choices based on your emotions? Every rumor, every lie, every scandal will be effective. Every arrow fired at us will find its target. They will do damage, and once they do, the attacks will increase in intensity. They seem to blot out the sun sometimes, stealing the light and hiding our path, causing confusion. and our ranks to panic and make their own choices based on emotion. At that point, the movement may still stand, but it will no longer be effective. It will have been neutered. I've been there. I've seen it happen. Unite or die. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mags.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome over there in the back. You're welcome over there in the back. Appreciate that.
So let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's get down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this? Must be a circus in town. Let's get down on these grounds. Can I get a witness? Hell yeah. Skip to your move while I do what I do best. You ain't even impressed no more. You used to it, close to it. Nobody close to it. Nobody says it, but still everybody.